Hey, everybody. So good to see you. Happy, fun Friday coffee talk as a little change of pace. But I thought, what a perfect way to kick off this beautiful weekend. This is our February coffee talk. We've been talking about living from your heart, stepping into your dreams. And I thought, there is not a more perfect person to introduce you to than my friend, my guide, my teacher, my shaman, my dear quantum mom soul sister, Julie Hannon from Inner Peace and Wellness. And so let's go ahead and get back into our hearts, get back into our bodies, and shut off the distractions of the outside world for just a little bit. And yes, you all do recognize that I am in a different space today because we're having a lot of pounding, not from our hearts, but from jackhammers, drills, all the bits. So we're testing the nervous system today. So let's go ahead and rub our hands, connect to our hearts, create that warmth, create that energetic field remembrance. In through your nose. Hold that beautiful breath. Let it circulate and release it through your mouth. Let go of all of the distractions for just this little slice of heaven for ourselves. 2 more times in through your nose. Hold it for whatever is comfortable for you to connect. Breathe it out through your mouth. Release that old, stuck, stagnant energy. One more time to really clear it out. Pressing those palms together, remembering that magnetism that you have inside you. Release that gunk that sometimes gets stuck. And then rub your legs, tap them. And let's do our cross crawl, homolateral. Mix it up. And here we go. So Julie and I have known each other for a number of years. We were cohorts in a course together, in a class together, in a community together. I have then learned about all of her magic and have studied under her. She's an incredible shaman, an incredible. She really does epitomize quantum mom. So without further ado, let me just introduce you to Julie so that she can then spread her magic with us. We're going to talk today about living with intention, living from the heart, activating all of that incredible energy that we have within inside us to live our dreams in the here and now. So,
yay. Well, thanks for having me, Jenny. It's so great to be in your community. I'm a firm believer that if you are a mom, it's the best gig in the world that you can possibly get, even though it doesn't always feel that way. But it's certainly my fave, one of my faves. I was thinking about being with you today, and I was really remembering when I first learned heart math. For people who don't know what that is, that's about bringing your heart into coherence with your mind and bringing up your heart rate variability, which is really important. And when I was first learning about it, I would wear this thing called an inner balance, which measured your heart, how your heart went and your rhythms and all that. And you had to keep it in the green. It's just very simple. It has like a green, yellow, red thing that just pulses with your heart, and it changes green and then goes through the different colors. And my kids would just walk in the room, and I'd go from being like serene green to red. They weren't even talking to me. They weren't asking anything. Just their mere presence in my field was like, so, so it was like, oh, I have to change my physiological response to keep that love flowing and even though like in my body, I wasn't even aware of that like I thought I was always in the loving. So I'm just here to talk about that with people a little bit today, to give you an experience of coming into coherence in your heart, and to tell you in your community, well, not tell you because you already know, but to remind everybody about what is the quantum in our field, in our body. So, and you
Gorgeous.
just did such a beautiful, in my comment here, my slide, it says start with opening sacred space, and you just did that in such a great way. That I'm not going to revisit that, but I would like us to orient if we can. So should we teach a little bit, dialogue a little bit, and then meditate together, or have a guided practice?
Beautiful.
Does that sound like
Perfect.
a plan?
Beautiful. Yes,
All
please.
right, cool. So what I like to have everybody do is, if do people usually take notes in their coffee, or is this a sort of a dialogue here where we're listening?
It can be
Do they
both.
have a journal?
And if you don't have a journal next to you, you can revamp in the replay. I would love you to just fully integrate it right now and be present. If you are present by writing, because I a lot of times am, go ahead and grab a journal real quick. Otherwise, just take it all in and you can always watch the replay.
Yeah, and just it can be a Post-it or a piece of scrap paper. I pull stuff out of the recycling bin all the time.
You
But
got
really,
that right.
the reason I invite that at the beginning is for you to make a note. So we sort of take a journey, and you make a note in one corner of a page or a Post-it or another of where you are right now. This orienting place of who are you now? What's the word or the frequency or the color of how you're feeling as you start this little coffee chat with us today? And to make a note to yourself, and really pay attention by closing your eyes, as Jenny had us do with breath to release everything. But now I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and breathe into your heart and suspend the breath, even as Jenny had to do, and take another little sip in, and then exhale down into the earth. Excuse me. And then do it again at your own rhythm. Inhale. Inhale, inhale, inhale as long as you can, gently expanding your rib cage, and exhaling gently down into the earth. And if your eyes have been closed, that's great. And if not, that's fine too. But simply notice what's shifted for you as you breathe in through your heart and consciously ground down into the earth. And so if there were words, there would be a couple of words of where you started and a couple of words where you are now, after just a couple of more breaths as we land. So it's really to make note to yourself how simple it is to make a shift as a busy human, as a busy mom human, as a person who's wanting to have more access to that peace and quiet inside, or that stillness and expansion, or ultimately where we're going today is the connection to the heart and your intuition. So just note that. And now I'm just going to come through and talk a little bit about this, about what I do, how we think about the world. We're only, you think that Jenny's Jenny and I'm Julie. I'm Julie Hannon, and my practice is shamanic healing. And I practice the shamanic healing arts through mentoring people, training practitioners, and helping people on their journey to transform themselves to living their destiny. That's the work that I do in the world. And the way it works for me is that, or the way it works, let's see if, oh, nope, sorry, I haven't done this presentation thing in a while. I just lost my thing. I apologize. Excuse me.
No
There it
worries.
is. We think of mind and emotions, and we think that Jenny and I are our bodies. Like there's this beautiful Jenny in her blue sweater and her glasses, and we think that that's who she is, and who her thoughts are part of all that is. So typically in Western civilization, this is what we focus on. We focus on the body and the mind and emotions. But there's really so much more than that. There's the thoughts that become things. So when we think about a thing over and over, we start to manifest that. And the way we do that is because we have this soul and energetic place. So the thought sends out a frequency into the world, and it makes an energetic, a quantum. As Jenny says, we go out into the quantum, to the place of that where everybody is one. Jenny, there's actually only one of us here today, even in the recording, we're all together. I'm speaking to somebody who's not here in this present moment with us, who's going to get this perfect message in perfect time, because that woman is informing what I'm saying right now, because we're all connected in the energetic. And we are 99% energy. So I started by saying we think that this is me and that is Jenny, but really that's only less than 0.1% of what Jenny is. She's 99% quantum or 99% energetic. And then and that's the software that informs the hardware of Jenny's 1%, her mind and emotions, and how she goes through the world is this quantum magic. It's right there in the, like these slides that say software operating system, the quantum, the magic is the energetic. What we're here to do in the world is our soul and the path that we take, and then it's manifested through thoughts and matter. So is that making sense so far? Is that like speaking a language that your coffee cup
Beautiful.
would understand?
And
Do you
that
have
we all
questions?
have that within us. And as you mentioned, yeah, the oneness.
The
Yeah.
oneness. Yeah. So
Which is a lot of time really esoteric to people, but that was a great way to, yes,
yeah. So to
depict.
just try to make it a little bit approachable. So my work focuses on the soul or the spiritual and the energetic. So if you want to make a shift in your life, you shift the energetic, you shift the software, which informs the hardware. Oh, I almost always have my phone here in my hand. I have it right there. So I hold up my phone and I say, hey, look, here's my phone. When you all have one of these, maybe not this exact one, but something like this. And when was the last time your operating system updated on your phone? Ding. When did you get a new download? That's pretty funny that I pick it up and it starts dinging at me.
Is it though? Is it
Is it
funny?
really?
Of course.
So how do if your operating system, people actually think I'm asking them literally and they go, I don't know, last week, last month, once a month. But all that is to say, this has an operating system that downloads from the cloud. It happens automatically or by being pushed out by Google or whoever. And once the operating system changes, then everything's different and it doesn't go back. And it's the same with the shamanic work. We download new energetics and it changes our system. It's the software that informs the mind, emotions, and the body. So we want to work in that place of the soul and the energetic. And one of the doorways into the energetic is through journeying or meditation, and especially through the heart. And if somebody's at the doorway, sometimes someone barks to set a limit. So let me let her out so she stops barking.
I had to let mine in so that he wouldn't bark.
Yeah, she's gonna do that again because her brother, my son, is leaving the house. So you know how it is, moms.
Yeah.
So we're still good with this soul energetic. So that's where we're working and going. And everybody good? You good? I'm looking at you, Jenny. So part of what we want to do is we want to move out of the mind and into the heart. That's where we started. So we really want to stop all this thinking and move into the heart. And as we drop into the heart and go a little bit deeper every time into the heart with our breath, it allows us to find that soul connection into the energetic, into the oneness.
And I
So,
find, if I can just interject really quick,
yep.
with some of you all, we have talked about this independently, but the mind wants to rationalize. The mind always wants to have something to land on. The heart just goes. The heart just knows. The heart doesn't lie. The heart doesn't try to rationalize. The heart doesn't try and what about this? What about that? What about this? It's just true. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it really brings us, when we get into the heart, it really brings us into that place of possibility or even infinite possibility and intuition. And as Jenny just said, into the knowing of who we are and what's the next step if we get really quiet and ask our heart. So it's really important work in that place of discovery of a new way of listening to yourself. And the mind, I like to say the mind, or Joe Dispenza says, the mind is mad, or everybody says, actually, all my teachers have said that to me. The mind is mad, but he says, it always leads us into a bad neighborhood. So it's like, if you want to, and Einstein tells us that we can't, if we go back to those places of those concentric circles, you can't solve a problem at where it was created. You have to go up a level or out a level. So if you're having a thought that something isn't working, you can't solve it. You don't go down, you don't go inward to the body. You have to go out to the soul or the energetic to solve that recurring pattern or problem. So it's really important that you address that software, that quantum, that you go there to make the change. And again, the doorway into that is by moving out of your mind and your thoughts and into your heart. And the way that we do it here, or that I'm going to show you that I was talking about with heart math, is through heart-focused breathing. So you really drop your attention into the possibilities, and then you start to breathe in and out of your heart. So that's really like what I wanted to talk about. I could talk a little bit, I mean, in terms of the teaching piece, I can talk a little bit more about heart math if you want, or heart heart focused, a little bit more about adding in a couple of ingredients that makes it more potent in there. But I'll turn it over to you first, and
Yeah.
we'll chat.
What I want to do is to have a little experiential. Let's talk about and do some practice of what it feels like to breathe into the belly,
Mm-hmm,
what it feels like to breathe into the chest
mm-hmm,
versus what it feels like to breathe into your heart,
mm-hmm.
so that people can really have the understanding and appreciation for the difference of that.
Sure. Yeah. Well, let's do that. We'll do those somatic things. And I want to say, you just reminded me, I wanted to say one other thing about heart math and heart rate variability. When I started with that story of my kids walking into the room while I'm thinking I'm getting all serene and green and getting the go signal that I've gotten into the zone of it all, and they walk in, part of what you want to bring in to maintain that feeling and expand the connection to your heart is a feeling of love, appreciation, or gratitude, an elevated emotion. So bringing in those feelings of elevated emotion allows your heart to expand, relax, become more of a magnet. So our pineal gland, our mind, sends out a signal of what we want, but the heart is what draws those experiences to us. That makes the magic happen, that makes the quantum alignments of you're with the right person at the right time, or you have just the resource you need suddenly when you need it for your kid, or all of a sudden you're meeting somebody at the library that you've never met before and they have the coach that you were looking for, or the reading tutor that you needed, or the resource for a new whatever. So all those places are because you're living in and out of your heart. It happens more quickly and more effortlessly. And the more we get settled in our heart, then, the new science shows that when we're in heart-mind coherence, it expands our energy body, our energetic reach, our signal 500, more than 500 times. So that's a lot, like even if you think that your body is here and your field ends right here, 500 times right here is, bigger than my house for sure, and probably bigger than my whole neighborhood. So that's a big
And you can
scale.
feel that sometimes too, right? When you
Yeah.
walk into a room or the grocery store or the library or whatever, and there are some people that you feel completely repelled by. There
Mm-hmm.
are some people that you feel completely attracted to, not necessarily romantically or sexually, but just, hey,
Right.
I like their vibe.
Right.
It's a thing. It's a real thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So, should we do that breath work to notice differences in breath?
Let's do it.
Okay,
Yes.
great. So I invite people always to close their eyes for this practice if that's available to you. Please don't do that if you're driving. If you are in a safe place, if you can pull over while you're doing it, that's great. Just take a moment to be with your body. And I also invite people to take their glasses off, because if they wear glasses, because it invites you to turn your gaze inward when you take that, when your temples aren't touched by your glasses or the bridge of your nose. It tells you that you're looking with a different way. So even if you're not comfortable closing your eyes, if you can take your glasses off safely, go ahead and do that, because it's an automatic setting that says listen, look, feel differently. And then just bring your attention to your heart as we begin. If your mind is still jumping around, breathe in through the crown of your head. Imagine you could inhale through the top of your head and exhale through your heart. And I say drop your mind to your heart. So you just let go of that mind emotional place and bring all your attention to your heart. And then as you find the rhythm of your breath, just place your hands on your belly, or your low belly, like by your belly button or just beneath your belly button, or sometimes make that sort of diamond shape around your belly button with your thumb and fingers pointing towards each other. And as you inhale, feel the rise of your belly and the fall of your belly. And what happens when you let your belly be soft? So often as women, we're like, pull it in, tuck it in, squeeze that muffin top, do something with it, get it out of the way. Maybe you're not a woman who has that, but still we zip up those abdominal muscles. I want you to unzip them. I want them to spill out over your pants, over your sweaties, over whatever you're wearing. Just let that be a soft belly that rises effortlessly with your inhale as the diaphragm moves down and then goes in and up just a little bit as you completely exhale. And then just take a note of that, where you are, what that feels like, and then move your hands up just under your rib cage. And feel your diaphragm expand downward as you inhale and pull up a little bit as you exhale. And maybe you feel your ribs expanding beneath your hands as your ribs move out. And your ribs move in. They expand and they contract. They inhale completely. They exhale completely. And what's different, make note of that. And then just move your hands around to the front. So they're sort of like at your xiphoid process at the bottom of your sternum. For me, that's right under my bra line, that place. And you're just sort of like tuning into your stomach, the gut feeling, right? So could you even breathe into your belly? Some people get so short of breath that they're like breathing above their heart. So breathe enough that you feel that low rib cage expand here. Really fill your lungs, actually go all the way up to between your collarbones. And your next few exhales, exhale with your mouth open. One more there. And then relax and shake it all out. And notice that's like very deep belly breathing, rib cage, tummy. We could do it the other way if we wanted to go down. We probably should have done it that way, but we started with that deep relaxation and really inviting your lungs to expand. Sometimes as soon as you start to do this, you feel emotions coming up, a wave of emotion, sometimes even tears, because the bottoms of our lungs, the deepest parts of our lungs are where grief is held, often deep, old grief that might not even have any memories associated with it, conscious memories. Sometimes the tears are simply a release of the stress hormone. It's how women release the stress hormones in their body, through tears. They don't have to be associated again with an experience. It's just a release, a relaxation, a letting go, stimulated by that breath moving deeply in your lungs. And then just make any notes to yourself. Take a moment, literally, energetically. What's shifted in me from that beginning place is from just 6, 8, 10 breaths of bringing your attention to how you expand into your body with breath. Breath is one of the ways spirit travels. Inspiration, in spiritus, to be filled with spirit, to be filled with the breath. We often don't take time to put our own mask on first. It used to be a metaphor I used all the time before the pandemic, but that place of really breathing. Can you breathe? Do you breathe? Do you give yourself space to breathe? And then now I'd like you to bring all your attention to your heart one more time. And we're just going to do a little practice of focusing in our heart. So the physiology of the breath is in through the nose and out through the mouth. And all your attention is on your heart. So on your next comfortable inhale, do what we did at the beginning, which is to move your mind to your heart with your inhale. Inhale through the mind, the brain, however it clears to you. Inhale down through the top of your head, down maybe the back of your neck, and exhale out the front through your heart. And you breathe in and out of your heart there. And just all your attention on your heart. And sometimes it helps to lay hands on your heart center, which is right. We often, if you grew up in America, if you're my age, you set up the Pledge of Allegiance in school and you think your heart is somewhere over on the left. It's really just a tiny, tiny bit off center. So just right in the center of your chest, maybe feel into your heart. Say hello, heart, with your touch, and breathe there again. And now you're feeling, if your hands are there, or one of your hands is there, you'd feel your elbow even move a little bit as your ribs expand, or both your elbows, as your chest rises and falls with the breath. And you're, like that bouncing around heart, your mind, your attention might move away from your heart and then come back. So now I'd like you to invite a feeling of genuine appreciation or full-on love. I've lived with a puppy for a year, that puppy tail wagging, jiggling, utter joy. You're back from the grocery store. Oh my God, I thought you'd never get here. That kind of unconditional, all embodied love and appreciation. Let it flood your body and your heart. And then as you do that, as you fill yourself with gratitude, with appreciation, and you breathe there. If you came to the coffee with a question or curiosity, or you came for a break from something that's going on that feels stressful, to get connected, bring all your attention again to your heart. Fill with gratitude. And even as you're filling with gratitude, you know that this place of being connected in your heart and full of gratitude is the ultimate place of receiving. And so really tap into your soul's inner guidance. Slow down. Be still and allow the universe to reflect back the love that you're holding in your heart. And if you're visiting this again or coming here now, what is the inner guidance that your heart offers to the question that maybe brought you to the coffee today? What is your heart's wisdom? Are there words or colors or a message or a sensation that floats up from the depths of you and your heart? And then breathe in through your heart again. And as you exhale, expand your attention with your exhale all the way around you, like simultaneously, maybe out in every direction, like you're sitting at the center of a wheel and sending signals out. And what comes in on your next inhale? Into your heart. Always returning your attention to the long, slow inhale through your heart and the longer, slower exhale through your heart and your mouth. That inward breath through the nose and the outward breath through your mouth is a way of reconnecting and reclaiming that parasympathetic nervous system, moving out of stress response and into stillness, the quiet, the beauty. And then imagine in your next inhale that you draw in the energy of a rose or a lotus flower blooming in your heart. Feel that connection. That blooming energy. And then in your next imagination, you inhale, you walk into the seat of your heart. You like walk in as if there's a doorway in front of your heart, into your heart. Take a seat in the center of that rose or that lotus. And ask for one more message from your heart. You are sitting at the center of the flower, in the center, radiating out light, even as the light comes in. What's the message in your heart? What's the light, the frequency, the sound, the color? And then notice what's shifted for you. Really receive that message, that gift from your heart by drawing in this complete message. Really consciously breathe it in and let it go out. Receive it just as you effortlessly receive that in-breath. You breathe it in, it comes in and it expands through your whole system. And then on your next comfortable exhale, exhale down into the earth. Plant the seeds of the message beneath you in the earth. And then come all the way back with your attention. And as we did with when we began, when we oriented, when we arrived, rub your hands together till they're warm. Put one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly, just beneath your rib cage. And listen to your body now. What's your intuition telling you is a good next step? How would you share the gifts of what you're intuitively hear, feel, sense from your heart and your belly now? Allow yourself to be surprised. So often we don't tune in and listen in this way. The body is a radio receiver and it receives signals from that energetic and communicates them through our cells, through our deep listening. So if you share this gifts in the comments here, if you tag Jenny or I will be certainly responding to them. And then if you've been writing on the paper, write those 3 words down of where you are now and take a couple moments, pause the video, write a few messages to yourself. What was the message from your heart? What did your intuition tell you? How do you allow yourself to be surprised, to really receive what's on tap for you? Sometimes we don't even know that we can have an answer to a question. We just think we are living in the question, which of course is the Buddhist way. And there's a place of really saying, oh, there's actually is a next step, or there is a tiny bit of reassurance, or big reassurance, or big possibility of ease and effortlessness when we lean into it. So, and then, I like to have you, this says 3 words in the chat, because in the Zoom world, we would put 3 words in the chat and weave together this connection, our connection to each other, and whoever's showing up here is really what weaves the world. And we are like at this place in our families a lot of the time of being the center of that hub, of being at the center and energy coming in and going out. So we want to have this open-hearted place where we're clear in our heart, full of gratitude for the moment. Even in the most difficult places, there's opportunities, and really connect to that. And then do come around, chat or no chat, and share the gifts of what it is to have, 4 or 5 or 6 heart-focused breaths to fill yourself with gratitude and appreciation, and come back to that serene green of the rhythm, no matter who's like marching into the dining room while you're trying to meditate. Just, oh yeah, I'm going to just breathe in and out of my heart. I'm going to feel gratitude for the reminder that I can come back to my heart. I don't have to leave here. I can live here. So we share the gifts with our family, and then, and then we come here, and if you go, that's like a link to go to get a free heart guided practice to set a heart intention on my website. You can of course go to my website, which I'll put that slide up in a minute, but to know that it's just a gift for you to have a guided practice with some journal prompts, and yeah, and explore that some more. And I know Jenny's done this meditation with me a few times. I love this little bird because it's so quiet. This little bird gif over here that's like walking around and saying,
Me.
just look at my heart. I'm coming with you I'm offering you my heart. So, but I'm just curious, Jenny, even today, if you had any surprises in that practice. We haven't sat together in a while.
No, and it was so interesting. I had no expectations of, am I going to stay in host mode, or am I going to actually be able to experience the Julie magic? And of course, I was able to experience the Julie magic. It was just like going back in. And it is such an amazing gift and such an amazing reminder that we do have these gifts available to us, these opportunities to do this for ourselves at any time. But it's remembering that we have to do it, and that it is just that simple.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful thing to be in the place of inner peace and wellness. Mine, like I would put a caret in there that said inner peace, joy, and wellness, or inner peace, calm, and wellness. But those places of to remember to be kind to ourselves that we forget, because that's the nature of being human. Like this is a secret tool that you have called heart focused breathing. Shh, it's a secret. You can only know about it if you ask about it, and then I'll teach you. And then you'll go out and do your day and you'll forget. And you're like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And occasionally I hear my kids say to each other, like one of my kids is a video editor. So he helped me with my early videos, and he would we'd do like 50 takes of me talking about heart focused breathing and get it into a minute. And then there was editing was challenging. So I'd have to nail it. And, but then he'd be watching it 10 times and he'd say to his brother, she does this heart focused breathing thing and it really works, like really helps me. So they would like give these tips, and they're like, oh yeah, that heart focused breathing thing for nerves or stress or just like being in life in a different way.
Well, and it was fascinating. A couple weeks ago, and many of you in the community know this, my son was really, really sick, and we had to rush him to the ER.
Oh my
And
gosh.
he had 105 fever. I didn't even know that was a thing, that it could be that high. So, they hooked him up to the heart rate monitor. They hooked him up to the O2, whatever.
Yep.
Put him on, an IV. And the doctor said, well, I cannot release you with your heart rate that high. And so I too, with him, did heart centered breathing. And we watched the monitor go down, and then it would spike, and then it would go down,
Right.
and I said, what were you thinking about? And so it was I never want to do that again, but it was an incredible opportunity for him to be able to see it in action as well.
Yes.
And so, even if we as moms put this on our phone as a reminder to do once a day, 3 times a day, before pickup, after dishes, whatever.
Right.
Um,
Every red light when you're driving in the car, at every red light, I'm going to take 3 heart focus breaths.
yes, yes,
While I'm waiting in line for pickup, I'm going to do heart focus breathing until I get to the front of the line.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, it's funny that you bring that up because I was once in the doctor's office with my mother, and she had gotten kind of stressed she was a lawyer, and she was, having some cognitive issues that we didn't know about, but she probably knew about, in her body. And as a result, she started having high blood pressure, and she was a tiny little Italian lady, and they wanted her to be on high blood pressure medication. And so I went into the room where they took the vitals and they had the blood pressure thing. And I said, Mom, let's breathe. Because she breathed. She
yeah.
only breathed in her upper lungs. She was like always short of breath because she never took a full breath. It was the weirdest thing when I started teaching her to breathe. And literally within 3 breaths, her blood pressure went down 40 points,
Yep,
systolic and diastolic.
yep.
And they came in to take her blood pressure, and it was off the charts, and they said to her, "Are you nervous?" And she was like, I don't know. I said, "I think she's very nervous. Could you come back in a couple of minutes?" And they said, "Sure." And all I did was breathe with Mom, let's breathe. And I got her to slow down her breathing and put her hands on her heart, and boom, right down.
Yeah,
So
amazing.
it's an
Well,
easy tool that goes everywhere with you.
exactly, exactly. And we're going to be doing a lot more breath work as we go along throughout the year, because I really have come to realize that, as you mentioned, many, many people don't really know how to breathe. But as we were going through the exercise of the feeling it somatically in different areas, and you brought up the release of tears, our bodies store this energy.
Hmm.
And breath
Yeah,
work is one of the easiest ways, most efficient and effective, quickest ways to be able to move that energy.
right. Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
There are
100%.
tons of other ways. Obviously, we've got yoga, we've got, walking, exercising, all of the things, but
But
one,
all those things that you just mentioned, they involve breathing.
indeed they do. Indeed they do.
Yeah.
So I am so glad that people were able to experience some of that magic of the journeying. And Julie has this amazing circle of humans. It's not just women, there are men there too. Many times I've worked with her for a number of years, and they come together on a weekly basis, and it's called Circle. And there's a bit of education, there is a bit of breath work and grounding and all of the things related to the cycles of nature as well. And there is journeying, and it is just magnificent. It's a delicious retreat once a week that you can count on and rely on. And
Yeah. And a way
just
of putting your mask on every week to really show up for yourself and your spirit, to live in that soul energetic, to have that guaranteed weekly operating system upgrade that's for
yeah,
you. And it is
yeah,
designed for right in the moment sacred circle. So it's on if you go to my website, it's right on the upper right-hand corner of the page. Hit that sacred circle button and come in. At your first circle is always a gift from me to you. So you can come and check it out some Thursday at noon
beautiful, beautiful.
Eastern time.
Yeah, yes, yeah, we do have people all over, but wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Well, do please check out Julie's stuff. Are you still doing your Facebooks on Sundays?
I still do a live stream on Sunday at 8. And I have a YouTube channel with, I don't know, hundreds of meditations now. So you can check them out too. So there's a
Lord,
library of free meditations, and there's, sign up for and get the journal prompts with the heart intention, because this is really, really we want to listen to our heart. We really want to be able to, you know, it's like I have an embarrassing number of card decks, and I pull cards to get extra guidance because I like that outside validation, but the inside messenger is clear when you take the time to clear that connection. So
yeah.
yeah,
And
those
to
are three ways.
stand in the leadership of the gloriousness of you as a human being in your family. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
we all need more heart. Beautiful.
Mhm. Well,
Well,
thank
thank
you
you.
so much for having me, Jenny. It's so nice to be here with you. I love that you're doing this work to support moms in their quantum nature.
You
It's so
got it.
important. My, people used to say, happy wife, happy life, but they also say your house is only as happy as the mom, so it's really important that you take the time, that we all take the time as moms to nourish ourselves. So, because we do so much for other people. And of course, if your son needs to go to the hospital, then that's what you're doing. That's how mom works. So we have this reservoir of heart connection to call on when you're in this emergency situation. It really helps you to have those pathways established.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Beautiful.
Step into the flow. Step into the flow.
Mhm. Beautiful.
Beautiful. Thank you, babe. Good to see you.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. See you next time. Bye.
Okay.
Nice to
Bye.
meet you all. Bye.